Okay, well, here's a little practice video to show what you can do on an iPad in terms of putting on perhaps a teaching video onto YouTube, which your pupils could watch at a future date. Or you could just stay at home and give up the day job and teach from your bed, if that was your thing. Anyway, this is a very quick presentation. I'll rattle through it very fast about the political spectrum. And what I've done here is I've put on a character called Mr. Average and make the point that Mr. Average has a choice of going to the left of the spectrum, staying in the middle, or moving to the right. And in the course of his lifetime, all these options are available to him, and with the powers of animation you can see he can wander about the spectrum down to the extreme areas, which we'll come to later, back to the centre, down to the right, extreme right, and like all good British people gravitate his way back to where he started from in boring centreland. There he goes. Okay, so introduce a couple of concepts, socialism coming down to the left and capitalism coming down to the right. Quick overview of socialism, making reference to Robin Hood, the idea, which you can't see in this box, need to work on this, the idea that you take from the rich via taxation and redistribute to the poor, and that would give us such things as a welfare state, an NHS, and nationalised industries like the old British Rail. We can meet characters such as Karl Marx, the founder, I suppose, of socialism and obviously Marxism, and go a little bit further, we can come around the spectrum and come to communism, which we can exemplify with Lenin there from Russia, mentioning perhaps the Russian Revolution. I see that the pictures are not particularly clear on the PowerPoint, but you get the rough idea. We come to old Labour on the spectrum, and I talk through it with reference to John Prescott. These are hyperlinked to clips of these people, but I'm not going to go into that just now. And the idea then that old Labour shifted across back to the centre of the political spectrum, where we see Tony Blair as an arrow to illustrate such things there, and imaginatively called New Labour. There we go. Then I'm up to jump to the right, and we talk a little bit about the different social classes, capitalism, lower taxation, the idea of self-reliance, individualism, and privatised industry. And I talk about things like mobile phone companies, which pupils can relate to, Virgin, Microsoft, which wouldn't exist if we were over on this side of the spectrum, or not in that form anyway. Talk about the Conservative Party, the main right of centre party in the UK. Introduced David Cameron, there he goes, popping up there, and the concept that he and others have taken the Conservatives round to the centre too, from their far furthest right position with Mrs Thatcher here. Then I like to talk a little bit about the USA and introduce the two parties, Democrats. For those of you who watch Family Guy, you'll know that Brian Griffin is a classic Democrat, but unfortunately in the real world, or fortunately, the Democrats' figurehead is Obama. Republicans, pupils will know Stan Smith from American Dad, and will remember George W. Bush. Lots of things you can, again, hyperlinked to develop these points further. Coming further right, we introduce things like the nationalist, far-right nationalist groups like the KKK, the BNP, is Nick Griffin, the KKK children, and totalitarianism, where we come across people they might have heard of, Stalin, and of course Hitler there. And I finish off with reference to all this changing in 2014 when the world is ruled by this man. That's it. So my next task, upload to YouTube and see if it works.